A delicious, well, that's an understatement, episode of Great Tastes of Manitoba. Heather Deibert from the Manitoba Mushroom Growers Association, well done. Sheila Nash went off and did some shopping. She's got some things for us to drink. We'll get to you in a second. First, a recap of what you made.
Okay. First thing we made was a Bulgur and Mushroom Burger, and that was using the bulgur, and we paired that with a fresh herbed mayonnaise.
It was delicious.
The second recipe was a creamy mushroom and barley pilaf. And again, we added some fresh Parmesan cheese to that and some cranberries for a little bit of tart.
That looks really good.
Yeah, and the third recipe is a quinoa and mushroom salad with an Asian dressing, so some nice Asian flavors coming through in the dressing.
Well done.
The recipes for this show and the complete series of great tastes are available on the foodManitoba.ca website.
Last seen roaming around chanting quinoa, Sheila Nash, product expert, Manitoba Liquor Marts. Oh, what are we going to drink?
Well, there was lots of choices. As always, narrowing it down can be kind of tricky. So what I decided to do here, going with the grain, I decided to go with wine across the board in different styles. And what I mean by that is we're going to do a table wine, we're going to do a fortified, and we're going to do a sparkling, the whole gamut. So to start off with the burger, with the herbed mayonnaise, which haven't tried, sounds delicious. I decided to go with the Bortoli Shiraz. Now Shiraz, everyone knows from Australia. What I was hoping to do here was really complement some of those real earthy characteristics with all the different herbs in the dish, and still have a nice crispness to it that would cut through and be refreshing. Decided to go with a cask style because I think sometimes we forget about that. Often we like to have just a glass and not the whole bottle, and the cask is always really a nice option because it'll last, you know, for up to 4 weeks. So great option, and no glass if you happen to be outside and entertaining or anything like that. Secondly, of course, for the creamy mushroom dish, we had the cranberries in there and the Parmesan. Really wanted to pick up some of the earthy tones in there, and decided to go with the Bortoli. This is a fine Tawny 8-year-old, which means it's a fortified product. You're up around almost 20% in alcohol, so I decided to cut it and stretch it a little bit with some soda. And what that does is it still gives you all of those beautiful sort of nutty and earthy characteristics, but becomes very clean and very crisp. It'll cut through the dish, but it'll hold its own because there's a fair amount of texture in there. And lastly, of course, for the salad, the tricky part of that was that dressing in there, some of that vinegar and whatnot. Decided to go with a sparkling wine, which is always a great option because sparkling has the ability to cut through a lot of things. Now, this is Emeri. This is an Australian product, pink Moscato. Moscato, of course, has great aromas to it, and that carbonation will just give it that nice, clean crispness, cut through the dish, pair up well, and it'd be delicious. The other reason I had to choose these, of course, is that they're all Australian, and I really wanted to focus in on the upcoming Winnipeg Wine Festival. You can try all sorts, as Australia is the theme country.
You are a pro! Thanks so much for tuning in to Great Tastes of Manitoba. Heather Deibert, Manitoba Mushroom Growers Association. Cheers, well done.
Cheers,
fabulous work. Sheila Nash, Manitoba Liquor Marts, tremendous work. Thank you. Join us next week. Portobello drink cover, by the way. Join us next week. Manitoba Pork will be here, dressed to impress.
Great Tastes of Manitoba is presented by Manitoba Liquor Marts. Great Tastes is brought to you by foodManitoba.ca. Local farms, local foods. Great Tastes is produced by Hummer Productions.